Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we are taking a look at Goodra, a brand new Pokemon just released today by Niantic. Goodra is a pure dragon type. Guys, it's a pseudo-legendary, so it has great stats. And the good news is, it has Dragon Breath as a fast move. That is the #1 thing you look for in a new dragon. It has Dragon Breath, so we're in a great spot. The charge moves, however, that's when things get a little bit weird. I'm running Muddy Water and Power Whip, although it also gets access to Sludge Bomb and Draco Meteor. And I decided to pair it with Talonflame and Charizard, since those will cover the weaknesses to Ice as well as the weaknesses to Fairy. So picking up a good lead here in Venusaur, they safe swap into Jellicent. We're actually going to stay in because our backline does terribly against Jellicent. They do shield up the Power Whip. I do know that a lot of Jellicents like to bait, so I call the bait, and it's the Bubble Beam. That's absolutely huge. 3 more Hexes, and now they're at a Shadow Ball, because with Hex, it alternates between 5 and 4, so this is a Shadow Ball. I'm able to correctly shield, and we are going to time our charge moves, so that way they don't get any extra turns on their fast move. Power Whip, now that it's debuffed, doesn't quite KO, but we are able to farm down, and now we're in a really good spot. They bring in an Alolan Ninetales, and we bring in our Talonflame. And at this point, the game is basically over, because all they have left are Pokemon that are weak to fire. Although, maybe I can get some style points here, and maybe I can get Goodra back in here to close the game. We'll check it out. They do decide to throw, and I do want to see if I can get that other shield. They do a very nice catch onto their Venusaur, so unfortunately, I probably won't get to have any style points in this particular matchup. Able to farm down, but the Alolan Ninetales is going to be able to beat me to a move. So this is going to take me out, but undeterred, I am really trying to get my style points. Come on, we're going to come in Goodra and try and get to the Power Whip. Unfortunately, we cannot get to the Power Whip there. I could have just come in Charizard, but hey, it's a Goodra video. I'm trying to showcase Goodra here. And the opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. All right, hopping to the next match here against DC Vulpix. Picking up a really nice lead versus Gallade. As you can see, Dragon Breath absolutely destroys Gallade. We just have to switch on their 4th to catch the close combat onto our Charizard where it's resisted. This does 2 things. It makes them waste a ton of energy, and it makes them bring out their best fire counter, which in this case is Kingdra. And if we're going to see Kingdra in our backline, we want to see it here because we can hit back with Dragon Claw. My guess is they're probably going to farm us all the way down and then go for an Outrage onto the Goodra. Goodra can survive an Outrage, but I really don't want to take that damage because it's going to be really useful against Gallade later on. So I do shield up the Outrage. Awesome. Okay. We're now in a really good spot. All depends on what they do have in the back. And they have a Galarian Stunfisk. Okay. So we're going to go for the Muddy Water to start, see if we can get a debuff, and we do. That's huge. Now, he might think at this point, hey, this guy only has Muddy Water. So we go for the harder hitting Power Whip. That does a lot of damage. If they go for the Earthquake, it shouldn't kill because we're debuffed, and then we're going to instantly go into Talonflame, so my opponent cannot get an energy lead. They come in with the Gallade, and at this point, I'm recognizing that they're actually not going to shield here because their win condition is not letting me get ramped up. So they come in with the Stunfisk. I am able to get off a Flame Charge, so now I am 2 times boosted, and we do get the Incinerate through, so all I have to do is shield once, and then the Stunfisk is dead. So level 50 Bear Trap taken out. Let's go. I'll be honest, I didn't actually check the CP, but I just assume it's level 50. Shadow Dragonite. You might be like, can Goodra win this? Yes, it can. As you can see here, we're actually doing more damage to them than they are to us. There actually is a defense bulk point with Goodra, where if you meet it, then Dragon Breath from regular Dragonite and Shadow Dragonite does 1 fewer damage, and that allows you to comfortably win there. Empoleon comes in, and now we're going to be going straight for the Power Whip. Power Whip lands, and we're going to come into Charizard. I really didn't want them to farm me down because honestly, we're not in a great spot here to be 100% transparent. We are going to execute Fast Move Denial on their 3rd Waterfall. because we should be able to CMP them to the next one, and they fall for our trap. They don't switch out, so we're able to take out the Empoleon, and now hopefully our Talonflame should be free in the back. They have an Alolan Muck. I recognize they are going to be able to snarl me down before I get to the Blast Burn, so I do decide to go for the Dragon Claw just to get some chip damage. And now I'm in a really good position where I can come in with the Talonflame. We're able to get an Incinerate through, so my opponent does not time their fast moves very well. And we're able to get to the Brave Bird, which is probably overkill. Honestly, a Flame Charge probably kills from that range, but hey, you know what? And of course, I missed some bubbles due to lag, but we take the win. Hey, we're in a good spot. All right, hopping into the next matchup. Gotta say, I had a lot of fun running Goodra. Galvantula lead. The absolute XL terror Galvantula. How does it do versus Goodra? Well, honestly, I do make a mistake here. In this matchup, in the Zero Shield, you do want to go for Power Whip. I learned this going forward, but Goodra does very well. Plus, there's an attack breakpoint where if you meet it, which my Goodra luckily enough does, then your Dragon Breaths actually do 1 more damage, which allows you to comfortably win the Galvantula matchup. So you can see here, I shield once and farm down, and had I thrown the Power Whip, I would have been able to win the 0, but since I didn't, I'm now down a shield, although I have a lot of energy. They come in with Kingdra, and since I'm debuffed, my goal is to hopefully entice them to stay in by using this Charizard. As you can see here, Kingdra is an absolute disaster for this team if it's not in the lead. So this particular team I would not necessarily recommend just because honestly it struggles against a lot. We're able to land the Power Whip that does huge damage, but we have absolutely no way to take out this Kingdra. And knowing my luck, I will get Octazooka debuffed. It's just facts. Oh look, it's the debuff. It's 100% of the time for me. Don't know how that is. Like, this is, as you guys know, I don't play a lot of Premier, but every time I do, I swear 100% of the time debuffs. So that is one big weakness to the team, is a Kingdra in the back goes absolutely crazy, and this team also does not particularly do well against the Empoleon Double Dragon line. Alright, picking up a fairly good lead here with a Poliwrath. They do, of course, have Ice Punch, but here's where we do get to see the bulk of Goodra. Ice Punch, yeah, basically does nothing. We're chilling. We're going to go for a Power Whip, and then if they do decide to shield up the Power Whip, then we are probably going to bail into one of our backline Pokemon and hope they don't have Hydro Pump. They throw, so there's probably just an Ice Punch just to burn some energy before they do decide to switch out. And they have an Alolan Muck. This is good for us. Alolan Muck means that they don't have a great answer to a fire type. Oh my goodness, the damage. Things you love to see. And at this point, I'm recognizing that I can actually shield here and farm down, and a Charizard with energy is so devastating endgame. And now we're just going to start unloading Blast Burns. That does a ton of damage to the Poliwrath. They're forced to throw. At this point, I'm very happy to actually let this go. We're going to aggressively swap into Goodra, and we're able to snipe the Poliwrath there. What do they have in back? They have an Abomasnow. Okay. So at this point, we know our Talonflame will absolutely win this, but let's see how Goodra does if an Abomasnow tries to farm you down. As you can see, those Dragon Breaths really add up. Now we're going to go for a resisted Power Whip, and by the time they farm us down from not even half health, it's at a quarter health. So Goodra actually doesn't have a completely terrible Abomasnow matchup. I'll be honest, it's not great. I mean, it's a nice type into a dragon, but it's better than most. All right, Ampharos lead and weak connection. Let's go. And they're probably just going straight for the Focus Blast, and I'm going to go straight for the Power Whip. Power Whip does get the shield, and let's see if this is in fact the Focus Blast. It is, and look at us surviving the Focus Blast. Oh my goodness. And the opponent brings in a Venusaur. Okay. We are going to come in with our Talonflame, and our goal here is to leave with a move because my opponent does have a Thunder Punch banked. So my goal is to force them to throw it instantaneously so they can't farm up any extra energy. So we throw our Flame Charge, that does take them out, and then come in with the Ampharos, and we are just going to let this go. Thunder Punch comes through. Yep, that's totally fine. Now we're going to come in with the Charizard and more than likely commit to the farm down. We are going to have to commit a shield, but we're going to be able to farm down, and we're going to have an energy lead over whatever's in back, which is a Machamp. Let's go. Okay, we are in a really good spot here. Blast Burn does get the shield. At that point, my opponent's win con is basically just calling my bait, so I intentionally went for the Blast Burn to deny them that potential win con. We're able to undertap there, go for the Blast Burn. Blast Burn does take them out, and then we come in with the Goodra to simultaneously KO the Ampharos and take the win. So as you can see, any of the elemental typings are really going to struggle against Goodra, so Goodra is really well positioned to take them out. All right, Politoed lead. Let's check it out. They have an Abomasnow, and we're just going to completely burn this snowman. Now here, in this match, I make a couple big mistakes. First of all, I overfarm by 1 because I don't play a lot of Ultra Premier, and I'm forced to burn a shield, and my charge move triggered. Absolutely terrible play by me. And now I'm down a shield. So this is really, really rough. Politoed comes in. And as you can see there, I tried to hit the flame charge and it just didn't let me. So that's kind of weird. I guess I overtapped. We are going to come in with Goodra and now go straight for the Power Whip. I'm guessing we are going to see a shield on their part, but they actually don't shield and we farm them down. What? So they're putting everything on their Alolan Ninetales. I was shocked to see the no shield, but then when I saw the Alolan Ninetales, I was like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And at this point, our win con is basically just committing to as much Fire Spin damage as possible. We are able to get the shield, but we are going to want to commit a shield ourselves to continue getting the Fire Spin damage. Here I throw the Dragon Claw because I believe they should be at their next charge move, and perfect, it's CMP, so they can't farm up any extra. So nice play there, and then we come back in with the Goodra. We're trying to get to the Power Whip. We can't get there, but again, the bulk of Goodra, a super effective Weather Ball, we eat that. We're chilling. We're in a really good spot here, and we're able to go for the Power Whip, and Goodra able to take out the Alolan Ninetales and to give us the win. Let's go. Hopping into the next match here and picking up a Kingdra lead. As I mentioned before, Kingdra is really not what you want to see on this team. This team is fairly weak to it, but if you're going to see it, you want to see it here. Unfortunately, we get the Octazooka debuff, which is really rough because without the debuff, if they go straight Octazooka, Goodra actually wins this matchup in the Zero Shield, whereas with the debuff, we do not. However, fortunately, we're able to take it out with 1 Fire Spin, and they bring in a Typhlosion. This is a good sign for us, because if they're bringing out Typhlosion, then something in the back is probably not a fan of hard-hitting fire charge moves. So we are definitely going to want to preserve some health on our Charizard here and really make this Typhlosion work. We are going to throw 3 Fire Spins and throw because that is 9 turns, and they get to 2 Incinerates on 10 turns, so we're only giving them 1 free turn. And because we did that, we're actually able to get to another Dragon Claw, which forces them to shield. We simultaneously swap. They have a Gengar in the back, and they actually go straight for the Shadow Punch, which we can definitely survive. And we're going to go for the Flame Charge. Flame Charge doesn't quite KO, but it should allow us to Incinerate down and have energy to make the Typhlosion throw. And now we are 1 away from the next Flame Charge, so they are forced to throw, and from here Charizard is in a really good position to clean up in the back and take the win. So even with a Kingdra on the team, we were still able to handle it and get the win. You love to see it. All right, not the best lead here in Mandibuzz, so we are going to safe swap into Charizard and bait out, whoa, an Alolan Raichu. So a very, very cool pick in the Ultra League Premier Cup, and things are not looking great for us. Goodra does okay in terms of Dragon Breath, but anytime you're forced to throw Muddy Water, it's probably not going to be a great matchup for Goodra, to be 100% honest. But the good news is we have baited this out. This is going to be a Psychic, which hurts quite a bit, but we can tank it. Again, Goodra's quite tanky, but we get the defense drop, which is super rough. They throw after 3, so they should just be a Thunder Punch, and we can actually survive a Thunder Punch. So we're in a good spot here. We survive it. We're able to farm down. And they actually bring in, oh, it's a Venusaur. Okay, so Talonflame's in a position to sweep here. We go for the Muddy Water. We hope for a debuff. No debuff. And now it's Talonflame versus the world with a shield advantage. We can definitely let the first one through, because the first one is really not going to do a lot, of course. And then we're just going to start ramping up these Incinerates. Our goal is basically to... Mandibuzz is so incredibly tanky that we need to ramp up our attack enough that we're actually going to be able to defeat it, and once we do that, then Venusaur will be easy pickings in the back. Alright, charge move coming through from the Mandibuzz. We are now 2 times buffed here. And unfortunately, they get to another move. We do get the Incinerate through, but my opponent makes a really good move here, and they actually switch into the Venusaur so that the Incinerate gets deferred onto the Venusaur, so their Mandibuzz is actually still alive in the back. And now we're going to buff up our Incinerates again, so we are now crazy boosted, and one Incinerate takes out the Mandibuzz and gives us the win. You love to see it. Alright, hopping into the next match here. Goodra into Sirfetch'd. And so long as they don't have Brave Bird, this is a pretty nice matchup for Goodra. They're going to safe swap into Mandibuzz, and here I do make a mistake. I should have gone instantly into the Talonflame, but I fish for a debuff, and I don't get it. And since I don't get it, I'm now not in a great spot, because I believe Mandibuzz with a bit of an energy lead can actually win the Zero Shield. So a gamble on my part, but one that did not end up working out for me. Foul Play does come through. We can tank that, of course, and at this point, I'm basically committed to playing out the Zero Shield situation. Because even if I lose Switch, both of my remaining 2 Pokemon have solid matchups against their lead, Sirfetch'd, so Switch advantage isn't super important to me at the current moment. Foul Play comes through, that is going to take me out, and we're able to come in with Goodra and farm down. Okay, we're in a pretty good spot here. We have some energy on Goodra, which is very nice. They come back in with the Sirfetch'd. They throw right before we get to the Power Whip. I'm hoping this isn't a Brave Bird. I call it. It's a Leaf Blade bait. Absolutely huge. And now we're going to be going for the Power Whip. And what do they have in back? They do have their own Talonflame. Okay. This is doable. We're able to get a shield with Muddy Water, which is big. And at this point, we're just going to let this go. We're going to take our 2 shields and our Charizard, and we're going to be in a really good spot. They throw right away, so they're only at 50 energy, so this can only be a Flame Charge. I don't have to shield this, and since I was able to call that was a Flame Charge, my opponent no longer has a win condition, so they actually end up letting this Blast Burn through and basically just surrendering the game. So a good game to my opponent there. Alright, hopping into the next match against a fellow legend, picking up a neutral lead versus a Toxicroak, but look at the Dragon Breath damage onto Toxicroak, does so much, and we go into Charizard to hopefully force them to throw, and also to bait out their best fire type counter. And they bring out the Politoed, so mission accomplished on both regards. You love to see it. Alright, Blast Burn comes through, that of course is resisted, but still does a solid chunk, and they throw. Okay, this is very, very good for us that they throw. We are going to wait our clock a little bit before coming in with Goodra. Believe this is just another Weather Ball. Yep, so we can safely tank that, and now we're going to go for the Power Whip. We're really hoping to land this, and we land it, which is huge. What do they have in back? Abomasnow, and Talonflame is just going to burn it all down in the back and take the win. So able to bait out their 1 fire type counter, and Talonflame was in a position to sweep endgame. Alright, Goodra into Feraligatr. It depends on the fast move, and the Spice Lord is running Ice Fang, so we have to get out of here really quickly. And they have a Shadow Swampert, so things are looking absolutely terrible for us. We're running a double Fire line, and they have double Water, so things are not looking good. We just have to let this go. We have a shield advantage. We're going to come in with Goodra, and hopefully Goodra can put in some work on these water types. We come in with the Goodra, and they do throw. I do decide to call it. I'm thinking it's a Hydro Cannon, and it is. Okay, so that is very good for us. They throw again. This will be another Hydro Cannon, And again, we can tank this. Goodra has a very nice stat product. They come in with Feraligatr, they attempt to snipe with Ice Fang. I'm able to read it and throw the Power Whip. That does a nice amount of damage. And now I'm going to try and commit to the Incinerate down. If we can Incinerate down before they get to a second Hydro Cannon, we're in a really powerful position to win this game because we can land a Brave Bird on that Swampert. And we do. We leave with 100 energy. They bring back in the Swampert, so whatever they have in back is weak to fire. So it's probably a very hard punish to grass, maybe like an Escavalier or a Scissor, something like that. Able to land both Brave Birds, and it's an Escavalier in the back. So despite the fact that they had 2 water types and we had 2 fire types, still able to clutch it out and get the win. Let's go. All right, and hopping into the final battle here against a fellow legend, Goodra into Shadow Swampert. And this matchup, I believe if you successfully bait as the Goodra, you can win the matchup. So I am fully expecting them to shield this just because it's a Shadow Swampert. They shield everything. So I go for the bait and they don't shield it. Oh my goodness. Fortunately, they bring out Roserade and Talonflame can fully farm down here. They go for a charge move. Whatever they have, I can survive it. They're actually running Dazzling Gleam, so very cool moveset, probably for extra Umbreon coverage, I would imagine, or if they get switch locked into a Mandibuzz. We can safely tank just the Weather Ball, that's fine, and we have so much energy. My guess is, since they safe swapped into a Roserade, it possibly could be a double grass team, which would be really, really good for us. I do make a mistake here. They were low enough, I probably could have just gone straight Flame Charge, so unfortunately I'm unable to get both shields, but they do have actually a Gallade in the back, so I was actually mistaken there. So they're actually trying to bait out a Flyer, and here I could have just gone into Charizard, and Charizard does a pretty good job of walling Gallade, but as I mentioned, it's a Goodra feature. We're trying to feature Goodra, so at this point, I'm just letting it hit me. I'm like, I want Goodra to win me this game. Goodra, or either Goodra wins me this game, or I take a loss. And they realize it, I panic and I take them out, which is a terrible move because they're actually able to Mud Shot down. So I actually almost threw this game. And I'm going to try and go for the Muddy Water. I lose CMP. They have enough energy where I have to respect the EQ. It's just the Hydro Cannon, and now they can't get to another EQ, so we're in a good spot. I go for the Muddy Water to try and get a debuff. No debuff, but I can survive a Hydro Cannon because Goodra resists it and is rather tanky. And we're able to clutch it out and take the win. Let's go. In conclusion, Goodra in the Ultra League Premier Cup. Being a dragon, it's naturally going to do very well against the elemental types like the starters, which are absolutely everywhere. So that's a huge plus for it. Plus, if you're able to reach that defense bulk point, you can comfortably beat Dragonite, and you have a really good matchup against Galvantula. So it has a very, very solid place in the Ultra League Premier Cup meta, and I look forward to seeing more as the season goes on. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a huge thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for your support. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.